Good morning, my friends. Welcome, welcome. My name is Laura Berman. I am your guest musician today, and here is something we would like you to know. We're here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to all the wonder that you are. We long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. We're here to remind you how much you're truly loved. Sing with us if you are feeling it. It says, I am open to receive the love in you and me. I am open, I am open, I am open to receive the love in you and me. I am open, I am open, I am open, I am open to receive the love in you and me. Now, let's know it for each other. You are open to receive. Here we go. You are open. You are open. Yes, you are. You are open to receive the love in you and me. You are open. You are open. You are open to receive the love in you and me. The big finish. We
Ah, beautiful. Thank you, Laura. Once again, you are always welcome. And hello, good morning, and welcome, beloveds, to Unity on the Avenue Spiritual Center. My name is Dr. David Goldberg, and it's my joy to serve as the minister of this beloved community. And wherever this finds you this morning, if you're in your bedroom, if you're at your desk, if you're on a device on the road, know that you are blessed and that we are so grateful for technology to be able to bring us together. We're still going to be meeting a couple of more weeks remotely, and then the last Sunday of the month, February 27th at noon, we look forward to seeing you here in our beautiful space right here on the corner of 17th and Dahlia. And for those of you who may be new to our community, please know that we are radically inclusive. We honor all races, all people, all relational orientations, all gender identities. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome here. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And as we move into our service this morning, I did want you to be aware that one of our longtime Unity on the Avenue members, Lawrence Coleman, has made his transition. He released his physical body Thursday night. We were in prayer, we were holding he and his beloved and his family, and as we continue to do. So please join us in prayerful support of Lawrence and his family. As arrangements are finalized, we will share that with you as well. And here at Unity on the Avenue, we are absolutely anchored in prayer in everything that we do. And it gives me great joy to share the platform today with one of our prayer chaplains, the one, the only, the beloved Opal James.
Good morning, my beloved community. Welcome to this beautiful day. As we reflect, it helps to step back and come to center and build the energy toward constructive actions. We will start our blessings this morning by remembering our beloved Lawrence Coleman, fellow prayer chaplain, as he continues his spiritual journey, for spirit is birthless and deathless. Our prayer this week is a prayer for unity on the avenue. Let us gather to pray for our community, unity on the avenue, and the greater community of the world. God, which we love so much, as we turn within to the Holy Spirit, we shed our outer concerns and allow God's peace to love and fill our awareness. Here we are with our love, spiritual family, and the ones we love. Today we focus on the truth together with a deep and abiding faith in the Holy Spirit, who is around and amongst us all the time. We affirm that Unity on the Avenue is a beacon of harmony and love in our lives and in our world. We are strong, prosperous, as children and friends grow, think and transform their lives in the nurturing love of this special spiritual community. We are so grateful to be the face of God in action, God in our world, and to do the work together that is ours to do. Our Bible reading for this week is John chapter 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. not as the world gives you peace. Let not your heart be troubled, neither be afraid. And so it is, and so we are. Amen. Please, let's read the statement of faith or just feel it. Faith is so powerful, the substance of things not seen yet heard. There is one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, the omnipotent. And so it is. Amen.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Has anybody here seen my old friend Abraham? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good die young. You know, I just looked around and he's gone. Anybody here seen my old friend John? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good they die young. I just looked around and he's gone. Anybody here seen my old friend Martin? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good they seem to die young. I just looked around and he's gone. Didn't you love the things that they stood for? Didn't they try to find some good for you and me? And we'll be free someday soon. Someday soon, it's gonna be one day soon. One day soon. Anybody here seen my old friend Bobby? Can you tell me where he's gone? I thought I saw him walking up over the hill with Abraham, Martin, and John. Didn't you love the things, all those things they stood for? Didn't they try to find some good for you and me? Oh, didn't you love the things they stood for? Yeah. Anybody here seen my old friend Martin? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good they die young. I just looked around and they're all gone. Now it's my turn. Yeah.
Well, again, good morning, and thank you for taking the time to be with us. You know, music plays such an important part of my life. It speaks to my soul on so many levels and so many genres, as I know it does for many of you. And I still remember being in a grade school choir, and we sang the song Abraham, Martin, and John that Laura just so beautifully offered for us on this day as we explore the season for nonviolence. And as you probably picked up, if you didn't already know, Abraham is Abraham Lincoln. Martin is Martin Luther King Jr. And John is John F. Kennedy. And that had always stuck with me. So I placed that special request with Laura, for us for today, to help set the tone of the season for nonviolence as we move into the work of Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King. So thank you, Laura. Thank you for your continued yes. So Season for Nonviolence may be new to some of you. Let me take a moment and just dig a little deeper into the genesis as we are celebrating actually the 25th anniversary of the Season for Nonviolence this year. The Season for Nonviolence starts every year on June 30th and ends on April 4th. June 30th is the day that Gandhi was assassinated. April 4th is the day that Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. So with the support of their families, with the support of their followers, with the support of so many around the world, the Association for Global New Thought, in connection with the Parliament of the World's Religions and Arun Gandhi, the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, created the Season for Nonviolence, you see, using those two assassinations as bookends for a conversation around nonviolence, for a conversation around peace, for a conversation around omni-local involvement. And what does that mean? What does omni-local mean? It means that there are hundreds of communities around the world that are participating in this effort with their local energy, with their local themes, with their local support. So that is omni-local. So it is those 64 days then that we are honoring the Season for Nonviolence. As I suggested, it started in 1998 by Arun Gandhi and is celebrating the philosophies and the lives of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. The idea was developed with the help of Dr. Michael Beckwith of Agape Spiritual Center, as well as Dr. Mary Morrissey and the Association for Global New Thought, and as I mentioned, the Parliament of the World's Religions. Today, 25 years later, Arun Gandhi co-chairs the season along with Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith. So as I suggested then, the purpose of the Season for Nonviolence is to create an awareness of nonviolent principles and practice as a powerful way to heal, transform, and empower our lives. Through education and community action, we honor those who use nonviolence to build a community that honors the dignity and worth of every human being. We are demonstrating that every person can move the world in the direction of peace through their daily nonviolent choices and action. Spiritually motivated grassroots leaders in more than 900 cities in 67 countries carry out hundreds of events and projects promoting nonviolence each year. Again, just a bit more context for you. Endorsements for the Season for Nonviolence from world leaders include the Dalai Lama, the late Dr. Robert Mueller and Coretta Scott King, and Vice President Al Gore, the former Director General of UNESCO, and Jesse Jackson, among many others. It is good, it is powerful work. So in 1997 then, in a personal conversation with Brother Wayne Teasdale, the Dalai Lama spoke these words in support of the project. The time has come to make it clear that nonviolence is the only way, the proper way to solve the problems among humanity. The promotion of nonviolence ultimately reveals the awareness of how destructive other so-called solutions can be, and in the meantime, shows us a way out of violence. Through nonviolence, we can see that it is possible to solve all our problems by means of dialogue. This Season for Nonviolence is a very good tool to remind us of the large, unfinished work we have together in transforming awareness on our planet. Additionally, in an interview with the late Coretta Scott King, she told the Association for Global New Thought, in the Season for Nonviolence initiative, the Association for Global New Thought has made a significant contribution to creating a more compassionate and peaceful world by educating people in the principles of nonviolence advocated by Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and other peacemakers. Now, I digress for just a moment, recognizing that the Association for Global New Thought, or AGNT, or agent, might also be new for you. So I wanted to provide you a little bit of context around that. I'm so grateful to Reverend Susan, who invited me in a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, to present the AGNT Social Uplift Ministry Program. There are 8 different modules, including homelessness and racism and gender identity. And so some of you might be familiar, and it might be new to some folks. So allow me just a moment then. New Thought, in general, is a spiritually motivated way of life that embraces the ancient wisdom traditions of East and West. We embody the belief that consciousness is elementally creative, reciprocates thought, and allows us to co-create with the divine to shape the reality of our lives. AGNT is committed to global healing achieved through personal transformation, community building, interfaith, intercultural, and interdisciplinary understanding, and compassionate activism. AGNT was born 25 years ago based on the revolutionary idea that universal spirituality is our common vision. Divisions among unity, religious science, and other branches of New Thought, ancient wisdom traditions limits that vision and may prevent us from reaching our full potential as a spiritual family. For more than 2 decades, powerful individual ministers within Unity, Centers for Spiritual Living, Agape, and other elements have worked together under the banner of the Association for Global New Thought, inspiring congregations worldwide to participate in a mission of spiritually motivated social activism. AGNT has gone a long way in evolving the character of New Thought beyond a magnificent spiritual practice into a platform for engagement in the pressing needs and issues of our communities and the world. Together, our journey does not just represent powerful ideas contributed by individual churches and spiritual centers around the nation, but one that embodies a whole system of giving unified and coherent expression to the important principles, practices, and actions of interconnectedness, diversity, and socially conscious evolution. The Association for Global New Thought has guided the Gandhi King Season for Nonviolence for the past 25 years through a worldwide network of more than 500 Unity churches and religious science centers, along with a diverse network of interfaith, intercultural, and educational communities. You know, something that was new to me when I first started exploring these concepts so long ago is that Gandhi's first name was Mohandas. His honorary title was Mahatma, from the Sanskrit for great soul or venerable. It's like the title Don in Spanish, as in Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of the 4 Agreements. So his given name is Mohandas, his honorary title is Mahatma, and he encouraged people to use both as they felt comfortable. Gandhi and King were first and foremost men who operated as their authentic selves. They were committed to a universal law. They refused to accept legally sanctioned injustice. They were willing to know the truth, speak the truth, live the truth, and be willing to go to jail or die, if necessary, to be true to their own truth. Let me be very clear, my friends. This is not a passive stand. Gandhi's commitment to nonviolent protest became an inspiration for Martin Luther King. Gandhi used the British Constitution to free his people, and this showed King how to apply the U.S. Constitution in similar ways. Melting hate with love worked for Gandhi in India. Gandhi became King's hero and inspired him to choose a path of duty. His dream of freedom eventually led to the massive march in Washington and the stirring words uttered for all to hear on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Let freedom ring from every hill, from every mountaintop. Let freedom ring. We are speeding up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. 3 months later, the U.S. Congress passed the civil rights legislation, and 10 months later, King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Gandhi was named Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1930, and King was named Man of the Year in 1963. Martin Luther King Jr. is quoted as saying, "Christ gave us the goals and Mahatma Gandhi the tactics." Gandhi and King are examples of what visionaries can do. The steps they followed to achieve their dreams are part of the evolutionary awakening of the human race. They are available to anyone motivated enough to use them. Each of us has a stake in creating a peaceful world. Please join us in holding that vision. Feel it, know it, and most importantly, we must trust the divine in each one of us to support our intentions. We can do it. Attitudes are changing. Our internal landscape is shifting. Gandhi and King were not assassinated in vain. Remember the dream, and most importantly, live the dream. Peace begins with each one of us. One person at a time creates one peace at a time. And the instant each person in the world is at peace simultaneously, there will be peace on earth. And yes, my friends, yes, there is peace on earth. And yes, it begins with me. Now, as we know, gratitude is such an important part of the quest for peace. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, said, "There is something in this attitude of thanksgiving that carries us beyond the field of doubt into one of perfect faith and acceptance, receptivity and realization, appreciation, gratitude, and thanksgiving, the motive power which attracts and magnifies the hidden personalities of life." Who in your life, in your mind, in your heart, are the great peacemakers of our world? Take a moment, invite them into your consciousness so they can inform and be a part of this conversation with us. Please, consciously call them into our circle now. At this moment, let us acknowledge just some of the great peacemakers. Thank you, Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, Mother, now Saint Teresa, the 14th Dalai Lama, Mikhail Gorbachev, Shimon Peres, Desmond Tutu, Rosa Parks, Henry Kissinger, Malala and Greta, Thich Nhat Hanh, and of course, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and Jesus. And thank you to all those not mentioned, but all of whom you called in to this circle as well. Thank you to those far-sighted individuals, and thank you to you for choosing peace. Gandhi wrote, "Nonviolence is based on the assumption that human nature unfailingly responds to the advances of love. Every moment I have the choice of love over fear." Have you ever thought of the power you have as a human being sharing this planet? For example, what about touch? A loving hand on the shoulder, a hug, a pat on the back? These small gestures can let people know that we really care. Sometimes words are too much or not enough, and a gentle touch can be so healing. Emmett Fox said, "There is no difficulty that enough love will not conquer, no disease that enough love will not heal, no door that enough love will not open, No gulf that enough love will not bridge. No wall that enough love will not throw down. No sin that enough love will not redeem. Or what about kindness? Sometimes all that is needed to turn a violent thought or experience around is just a bit of kindness. The Apostle Paul wrote, "Clothe yourself with compassion and kindness and gentleness and patience before each other, and forgive whatever grievance you may have with one another." And what of reverence? Where would violence go in the face of reverence? How could one be violent when someone is holding them in high esteem and valuing them? Or what of transformation? How do I transform violent thoughts into loving thoughts? Might I sing? I acknowledge my truth and know there is a song in me that only I can sing. And do I have a balance between speaking and listening? Dag Hammarskjöld, the former UN Secretary General, said, "The more faithfully you listen to the voice within you, the better you will hear what is sounding outside. And only she who listens can speak." A Sufi proverb says, "When the heart weeps for what it has lost, the spirit laughs for what it has found." And Albert Einstein said, "There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as if everything is." And we say thank you to all the peacemakers who stood tall in their truth. Thank you for taking the elegant approach to life and leading with refined grace. Thank you for inspiring us to carry the torch that is leading us to victory. Matthew 5:9 tells us, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be known as the children of God. But I say to you that hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you. Pray for those who abuse you. To those who strike you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from those who take away your cloak, do not withhold your coat as well. Give to everyone who begs from you, and of those who take away your goods, do not ask them again. And as you wish that others would do to you, do so to them." So, my friends, how can we as individuals, one person at a time, make a difference in this large world? Well, here are 3 specific thoughts for you that we can engage in on a daily basis. The first is personally. Maybe smiling, maybe believing, dreaming, and caring. And, as we've talked about before, it all starts within. So I encourage you to speak with yourself gently, because that's the voice you hear most frequently. The second is interpersonally. And examples of that might be offering praise, or listening, or cooperating when it may not be your first default action, and seeking accountability. The third way would be through your community. Examples are advocacy, action, commitment, and celebration. You've heard me say before, never postpone joy. If it's important to you, celebrate your accomplishments. You see, through one person at a time, we create one piece at a time. One piece at a time creates a peaceful family, a peaceful community, and ultimately a peaceful world. So what does peace mean to you? What goes through your mind? What moves through your heart when you hear that term? Is it a word that you hear? Or is it a living, breathing entity with a heart and a soul of its own? Is it passive or active? Think about it as you move through your life. How can I, as one person, make a difference? As I've shared with you, I'm a huge fan of the Olympics, and yes, it's that time again, and yes, we did just have them 6 months ago, the joys of a global pandemic. With the opening ceremony taking place just a few hours ago, let's look at the concept of peace through the lens of the 5 Olympic rings. In 1928, an Indian field hockey team competed in the Olympics for the first time and won a gold medal. 3 years later, the Indian Hockey Federation asked Gandhi for a message of support for a brochure being prepared for the 1932 Olympics. Gandhi said it would not be possible, and I'm quoting, "You can have no knowledge of my amazing dullness and ignorance. You will be surprised to know that I do not know what really the game of hockey is. I have never, to my recollection, watched any game either in England, South Africa, or India." Then he added, "I have never attended cricket matches and only once took a bat and cricket ball in my hands, and that was under the compulsion of the headmaster of high school where I was studying 45 years ago." Now, this confession does not in any shape or form mean that I am opposed to the games. I only have never been able to interest myself in them. As well, Martin Luther King also understood the strong connection between politics and sports, although the only sport that he claimed to participate in is pocket billiards. He understood that the athletic field and athletics could be a powerful megaphone for civil rights and social justice. I offer you 3 examples. When Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball, King said of that major feat, he, Jackie Robinson, he was a sit-inner before sit-ins and a freedom rider before freedom rides. And he had a private relationship with the boxer formerly known as Cassius Clay, who changed his name with his religious conversion to Muhammad Ali. And that relationship was private because the Nation of Islam that Muhammad Ali was embracing did not align as neatly, shall we say, with the civil rights and the efforts in which Martin Luther King was engaged. And yet, he and Ali had a private friendship. And fans of the Olympics, like me, might remember in 1967 that 3 athletes prior to the Olympics in Mexico City launched the Olympic Project for Human Rights. They had 4 demands. They wanted Muhammad Ali's title restored, and they wanted South Africa and then Rhodesia, now known as Zimbabwe, uninvited to the Olympic Games because of their apartheid policies. They wanted more African American coaches, and they wanted the IOC president removed after ruling for 32 years with an iron hand. All these years later, some of these conversations we are still having, and they are absolutely necessary. And civil rights leaders were appalled. Protesting the Olympics was, or could be considered, unpatriotic, even unseemly. But Dr. King offered his unwavering support, saying, "This is a protest and a struggle against racism and injustice, and that is what we are working to eliminate in our organization and in our total struggle. No one looking at these demands can ignore the truth of them. Freedom always demands sacrifice, and they have the courage to say, we're going to be men, and the United States of America has deprived us of our manhood, of our dignity, and of our native worth. And consequently, we're going to stand up and make sacrifices. Those were three of history's most critical collusions of sports and politics up until that time. And so, my friends, those who have been with us before are anxiously awaiting the acronym. And here we are, for peace. Let us engage in practice. Let us engage in engagement, in action, in connection, and evolution. So practice, that is what we know of the Olympians. Even if we never engage and we don't know much about the Olympic movement, we know that to be an Olympian takes practice. We know that in anywhere in our lives, anything that we want to be proficient at, anything that we want to be better at, takes practice. So what are you practicing on your spiritual journey? Are you praying out loud? Are you blessing a meal before you sit down to eat? Are you offering gratitude when you first wake up in the morning? Are you releasing the day as you lie down to rest at night? What are you practicing? What spiritual muscles are you building and flexing? And with whom are you choosing to engage? As a part of the opening ceremonies for Beijing 2022, they had the president of the Beijing Olympic Organizing Committee speaking in Mandarin and welcoming the athletes and the visitors from the world, although they weren't able to get in, they aren't going to be able to get into any of the venues. And coincidentally or not, this person who is president of the Beijing Olympic Organizing Committee is also the general secretary of the Communist Party in China. And I reflected back, you've heard me mention that when I was in the corporate world, one of my jobs was director of Olympic public relations. So when we were working on the Salt Lake City Olympics, I had the opportunity to meet with the head of the Salt Lake Olympic Organizing Committee a few times, and we broke bread on more than one occasion. And that was none other than now Senator, former presidential candidate Mitt Romney. And I thought, bless Mitt Romney for stepping forward and doing this job for 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 years without pay. He never took a dime. And now his equivalent, all of these 22 years later, is also the General Secretary of the Communist Party. Isn't that interesting? We get to engage with people who don't look like us or think like us or pray like us or act like us. That is where our spiritual growth comes from, my friends. How are you engaging? How are you stepping outside of your comfort zone? And the A in peace then is act. Where are you taking action? The company that I was working for, a precursor to CenturyLink, known as US West, had invested $65 million to be a sponsor of 5 categories of the Salt Lake City Olympics. And some of you may remember that is when there was the bid scandal and there were all kinds of interesting things happening with the Olympics in Salt Lake City, as is always the case. And so, our decision as a company, companies were getting out, companies were making all kinds of different decisions, and for our $65 million investment, we as a company said, we see value in the Olympic movement, we see value in the ideals that are espoused by the IOC, by the Salt Lake Olympic Organizing Committee, by the US Olympic Committee, therefore we are going to continue our sponsorship. So, we got on the company plane, we flew to Salt Lake City, and I have to tell you, it's the one and only time in my life I was holding a check for $5 million. That was our commitment for that year, and we were able to hand Mitt Romney a check for $5 million to say, we are taking action. This is how we as a sponsor can show support of this effort. Where are you acting, my friends? It's lovely to be prayerful. It's lovely to be introspective. It's awesome that we are able to sit in meditation. And we know that when we pray, we also have to take action. When we treat, we have to move our feet. So I invite you into that action. And the C then, in peace, is for connect or connection. You've also heard me reference on more than one occasion the years I spent in the international musical troupe Up With People. Well, before I traveled, Up With People was a part of the opening ceremony in 1972 in Munich, Germany. You'll recall that that is when the Israeli athletic team was massacred and 11 members were brutally murdered by terrorists. And Up With People, all of these young people from all over the world were already there, already engaged and already participating. And the leadership of Up With People said, what can we do? The whole Olympic Village was locked down. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew how to engage. Do we stay? Do we go home? What does this look like? Are we safe? Are we putting our athletes and our coaches and our teams and our people at risk? And so what Up With People did is what Up With People does. They put on a show just for the athletes in the Olympic Village. And one of the audience participation numbers is a conga line that was weaving through the audience. And they literally had every athlete who was at the show in a conga line because it allowed them to connect physically. It allowed them to shake off some of the energy and work through whatever they were working through. So that is connection, my friends. Again, it's lovely to be spiritual, and it is necessary to do everything that we do. And how are you engaging? How are you showing? How are you living your spirituality? And finally, then, the E in peace becomes evolve. You know, I was fascinated this week in watching perhaps a bit too much cable news to see members of the U.S. Department of Defense, generals in charge of particular arenas or theaters of war, coming forth and offering comments on a suicide bomber that killed 13 military people and any number of civilians as the U.S. was preparing to withdraw from Afghanistan. Now, the initial report was that it was complex and complicated, and there were a number of players involved, and the bomber was just one of many. And after detailed research and interviews and reports and studies and research, they came forth to say, this general is speaking, and he's saying, we are revising what we originally thought. This suicide bomber was acting alone, and it was the bomb itself that was so devastating and so deadly. So here we have the United States military, the greatest military on the planet, evolving and explaining as they gained more information. Isn't that interesting? And from an Olympic perspective, then, coming back to looking at things through the 5 rings of the Olympics, this year in Beijing, the International Olympic Committee, which restarted the Games in 1896, that is the beginning of the modern Games. This year, there are 6 new sports, and that includes big air skiing, women's monobob or bobsled, mixed team snowboard cross, mixed team ski jumping, mixed team short track speed skating relay, and mixed team aerials. Now, please don't ask me any of the athletes or any of the rules. And I bless the International Olympic Committee in being willing to evolve and change and grow to meet the times. So there you have it, my friends. Peace, practice, engage, act, connect, and evolve. And as we explore and continue to explore these 64 days of the season for nonviolence, let us know that in our hearts, every moment is an opportunity for nonviolence. Every moment is an opportunity for peace. Please join me in prayer. What I know at the core of my being is peace is our natural state. I am so grateful for the spiritual beings who had human walks of Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and so many other blessed, beloved, and peaceful souls. They are friends, they are mentors, they are spiritual prophets that I choose to emulate in my walk on this planet. My work is to engage in peaceful conversation with myself as well as those around me. And some days I am more successful than others, and I know the one power, the one presence of God is in, around, and through it all. And yes, peace is our natural state. So I bless all within the sound of my voice this day. I know for you peaceful engagement. I know for you peaceful solace. I know for you peaceful action. I know for you nonviolent care of yourself, of your family, of your loved ones, of your spiritual community, and indeed of your planet. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Indeed, blessed are the peacemakers. Indeed, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. I release, I let go, I allow it to be. And we anchor this together by saying, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are. How good it is to be in a place of peace. What a blessing. And now, my friends, is our opportunity to move into that place of conscious giving, where we are provided the opportunity to give where we are spiritually fed. We love you, we bless you, we are so grateful for your gifts, your tithes, your offerings. Whatever terminology you use, please know that we take our fiduciary responsibility seriously, and we are most grateful for your gifts that enable us to bring you these online services and continue our work in the world. Please join me in the blessing of our gifts and tithes. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
You and me, we once believed it was a good thing. Then one by one, we came undone, like a weed dimmed the sun. And I wanna see that now isn't how we wanna be. Oh, it's all on the table. We are shakable. we've got a hold on what we think we know. Still don't get too close. And I wanna see that now isn't how we wanna be. Oh, no, no, it's all on the table. We are shakeable, sometimes breakable, but always, we are always indestructible. Rattle the walls, lean in and fall, count to 10, and try again. Oh, try again. Oh, I wanna see that now isn't how we wanna be. Oh, it's all on the table. We are indestructible. Oh, we are indestructible. Yes, we are. Sometimes breakable, but always, we are always indestructible.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you who are interested, we are still accepting commitment forms for 2022. This simply provides our Board of Trustees with a bit of a yardstick to have information about your intention, and it will help us in the budgeting process as we move through this year and beyond. So thank you for your prayerful consideration. Go to unityontheavenue.org and please download the 2022 Committed Giving Form. And now it's that time for us to bless the children in this community, the children we're calling in, and the children of the world. Please rub your hands together. Let's create that wonderful energy and join me in our blessing. And now we offer a blessing for the children of our community and the world. You are loved, special, and important. We see you and bless the divine being that you are. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your time, for your presence, for your consciousness, and for your love of this community. And now, join me in our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. And wherever we are, God is. Go in power. Go in peace.
Rattle the walls, lean in and fall.